Relax, Pac. These are hardly bad guys. How are you? Hey, Homer?
Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel. Today I want to talk about Battlefield 4 Premium Edition on Steam and Battlefield 4 overall. I still think Battlefield 4 is a great game and one of the best Battlefield games in general. But it also has some issues, especially the Steam version. So let's jump into it and begin with the good things. Battlefield 4 was originally released on October in 2013 on the Xbox 360, PS3 and Windows, and was a bit later also ported on the former next-gen consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox One. Even I think it's not the very best Battlefield, it was my most played Battlefield game for sure, and I enjoyed the multiplayer most of all Battlefield games ever. Never played the PC version before, but I did enjoy the game on two different platforms. First I purchased it on the 360 and played the hell out of it. I did the 1000 gamer score and achieved all the multiplayer achievements in-game, which were part-time, extremely grindy and challenging as well. 1 year later, when my beloved 360 decided to not work anymore and I already bought 3 360s in the overall lifespan of the console, I've bought the PS4 and so Battlefield 4 again, because it was my favorite shooter back then. I did the Platinum trophy and also finished all of the multiplayer achievements again. Alone to these facts, Battlefield 4 wasn't only my most played Battlefield game, but for sure one of my most played game of all time. De facto, I spent thousands of hours with that title, mostly in the extraordinary multiplayer. Content-wise and due to one of the best controls in the franchise, it was just the best Battlefield game in some categories. Battlefield 4 had a fine, short campaign. It was good in my opinion, but no comparison to Battlefield 3 and especially not to the Bad Company franchise. As an extra, it was totally fine and technically brilliant. The former Frostbite 3 engine was visually and depending on their physics impressive and delivered technically one of the best games in that days. The star of the game was of course the multiplayer, which made the Battlefield series famous. Battlefield 4 got some features back in a modified version like the Commander mode and a new Destruction Engine 4.0 implemented never seen before impressive changes on the map, called Levolution by the devs themselves. There were a lot of maps in the game and also older maps as a rework, which gladly looked awesome with the new engine. You had a lot of weapons and customization. The possibility to get access to more weapons on each class was a great change and gave the player more opportunities to fit to their playstyle. DICE also brought a lot of features from Battlefield 2 back, which they abandoned for Battlefield 3. I also enjoyed the later DLC maps, which slightly began to expand to the future warfare and also had some references on Battlefield 2142. The maps were fantastic and more diverse, responding to former games. You had a lot of different modes and varieties from a tiny to a huge scale. For myself, the best variety in maps overall. So with that said, and still thinking that Battlefield 4 is one of the best Battlefield games with ease, I will now talk about the Steam version I just bought for $1.99. Of course you get the premium version with all DLCs and can't complain if the multiplayer runs well, but that's the premise. While you just put in the disc on your 360 and PS4 and jumped into the combat back in the day, even Battlefield 4 also had some troubles and bugs when it came out, I couldn't do that with my game on Steam now. The first but my individual problem was the controller. It works not properly at all on the PC Steam version. I'm used to use mouse and keyboard and controller both in a lot of games. But for Battlefield 4 it will not function always as expected. Keep that in mind if you are going to use one. Proper use works better on other games, even on Tarkov, which never got an official controller support at all. But EA is poor and doesn't care about their players. PunkBuster. How I like these damn anti-cheat software programs in general, even in single player games. Never cheated in an online game and I will never do that in the future. I despise cheaters and understand the will to stop them with programs, but the overall reality is that these programs often recheck proper game functions and bring more issues with them. And of course, cheaters will always find their ways. Back to PunkBuster. When I started some multiplayer games and got literally kicked out of every single match by PunkBuster. I read about in the internet and downloaded the auto update system, which worked fine, at least for me. Then I never got kicked out of a match by the system again. So if you have the same issues on Battlefield 4 on Steam, feel free to use the link in the description, which worked totally fine for me, and connect the Battlefield 4 path in the program. But of course Battlefield 4 has other issues as well. I had some weird sound bugs where I had to restart the whole game again because there was no sound anymore. The game has some graphical bugs as well. Things will pop in and out and you will get the feeling that it looks that some systems don't run properly. Sometimes it even felt that the speed is in fast forward in passages. Felt a bit off and weird and not like in the original back then. If there's someone who actually played it back then on Windows, feel free to let me know if this is a common state the game had also back then on PC. The console version ran great despite the typical Battlefield bugs. And last but not least, the fantastic EA launcher. I hope publishers get rid of these crap systems one day. I have even games which weren't able to run after a launcher update, Civilization 6 for example, or where I couldn't connect to my friends in the launcher option to play with them on the EA launcher. This was on Battlefront 2 for a long time, for example. Because of not connecting with friends on the launcher, I couldn't play an old game with them. Thanks EA. At least it worked fine on the console and gladly it works now. But for real, get rid of these systems. Even I don't like some mechanics in this port, it is still a great time, and even you have not a big chance against mouse and keyboard players with your not properly working controller config, it's still fun for me and I need to play in a different style. Even I don't like EA and especially their politics and launcher features, the crap anti-cheat software and the circumstances you need to bypass, I would recommend that game to every Battlefield fan. It is still an awesome experience and the sound and controls are still competing to modern games with ease. In some cases even better. So if you have a few bucks over, give it a try and have fun. For the Battlefield series itself, I don't have any expectations anymore. EA failed us so many times, big time, and I don't trust a single word of them. The former and adequate DICE devs left the scene a while ago and created even new studios. So my concerns about the new game are there. I don't give a single shit on rumors and the promises what they want to deliver. Battlefield 1 was the last good Battlefield game you could buy blindfolded without hesitation. And even I had some fun with Battlefield 5 for a few weeks at least, I didn't like where development of the games headed. Until they will deliver a proper new one, I will enjoy the old ones or even play other more awarding games. So, thank you for watching and have a nice day.